Hi everybody, Laura Basson here. I have a video today for Mama Elephant and I'm featuring the Splendid stamp set that just came out. It's much like the one that came out a little while ago, Make a Wish. It's got that same look with the fonts, the hand-drawn, whimsical look. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going to stamp that really large sentiment right in the middle of some watercolor paper. This is that Tim Holtz watercolor paper. Stamping it with some jet black archival ink because I'm going to be doing a little faux watercolor technique and I want some ink that's not going to bleed when it gets wet. So the next thing I'm doing, I'm going to stamp the background with this trifecta stamp set. Trifecta stamp set's probably one of my all-time favorite stamp sets in the history of ever because I love these triangle patterns. Okay, so I'm using Versamark ink. I'm going to stamp the triangle background all down the front of the card front, and I'm going to emboss it in clear. Now, this faux watercolor technique is something that I just showed a video in the watercolor for card makers class, but this time I am kicking it up a notch with the emboss resist with this trifecta triangle background that I will emboss and clear. So you're going to get the watercolor look and you're going to get the emboss resist and it's going to be so cool. It's going to knock your pants right off. Okay, so I'm starting with some Distress ink and Squeeze Lemonade. I just ink up my acrylic block and then I'm going to spritz it with some water with my little mini mister and smush it onto the watercolor paper. And you just kind of rock it back and forth, rock it, and then lift it and you get this cool little wash, like faux watercolor look. Okay, so work my way down. Now, one thing that I think, and I've done this about 101 times, testing out colors, is you got to work in rainbow order. And it's the way it's got to be done. When my son saw me working on this, he was like, Mom, I really want to try that. And as much as I hated to let him use a piece of my Tim Holtz watercolor paper, I let him do it. I let him do it, and I let him pick out the colors he wanted. And so he's smushing these things. He's inking up his acrylic block, but he was choosing colors that don't go in rainbow order. Like he would go from a yellow to a purple, and you know when that mixes, you get like a pukey brown. So in my experience, however you want to do it, whatever color shades you want to use, I still think that you need to go in some sort of rainbow order so that when they blend, you get a pleasing look. Because otherwise, you're going to start getting a muddy brown, which is just not as pretty, it's not as fun, and it's not as happy. Okay, so that's all it is. When I let it dry, I trimmed it out and put it on a card base, and that's all there is. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day.